Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. Hi, hello, my name is Loey, and I hope that this is not your first video you are ever watching of me, because I have really interesting, this is going to be an interesting story, but I feel like what I'm going to tell you today is so dramatic and crazy that it sounds made up. Like, I have never in my life experienced the level of paranormal stuff I have been experiencing in these last couple of months, and I've said nothing because I didn't want to film about it in my house. So we are currently in my office space, which has basically been a glorified storage unit for the last couple of months because I've been so busy I've barely been able to work on it. We finally got the AC and stuff fixed up here. This unit hadn't been leased in years, and we're talking like 5+, so there was a lot of maintenance that needed to be done here, and a lot of things that needed to happen before I could even film here. But I knew that I wasn't going to film this video in my home. So I hope you'll forgive the noise, I hope you'll forgive this plain AF background, but I also hope you'll understand that I did not feel confident or comfortable filming this in my bedroom at my house. I've already rambled for so long. This is gonna be such a long video. I didn't know if I was ever going to talk about this because I have never been so genuinely terrified in my life. The fear outweighed any fear I ever felt in my Los Angeles apartment, and that's saying a lot because I was afraid 98% of the time in my LA apartment. There was something so evil and nasty there, and I'm so glad to be rid of that space and in a new space in LA. But when I first moved to my house in Georgia, so a little bit of backstory, I live part-time in LA and part-time in Georgia because I'm a YouTuber, because I work in like fashion and beauty outside of the scary stuff. I'm required to be in Los Angeles quite frequently, but when I kind of have some downtime, when I have like some time for myself, when I can just film videos and work from home and be with my dogs and my animals here, I come back to Georgia. And this is honestly what I would consider home, although LA is also home, so who knows. When I first moved into my house here, it was my dad's house previously. I had felt nothing but good things there. Nothing but good things in that house. I felt closer to my dad than I ever have since pretty much he passed away. I felt like he was there all the time. I was so comforted by that space that when things started going south and started getting weird, I almost didn't know how to react. And when I tell you that I never wanted anything to happen there, on my life, I would rather never have another paranormal story time and all of you guys unsubscribe, although I would never want that, but I would rather that happen than for any memory in my dad's house, which is so sacred and so special to me. It's like, it's literally like my safe place in life. I would have rather never had anything happen and never make another paranormal story than anything happen at this house. And I think that that's why it freaks me out so badly that something did. I guess I should just start at the beginning. And there are paranormal experiences in this place that Christian has now told me about. My brother's name is Christian, in case you did not know. Christian has told me about some paranormal experiences in the house that are not really mine to share. There are a few of his that I'm going to talk about in this video, but for the most part, I did not know about a lot of things he had experienced in the house leading up to this point. If you guys want him to come on my channel and talk about that, he might consider it. I don't know. He doesn't really like this kind of stuff at all, as you'll see in this story. But where things began was one day Christian was going upstairs. We had been talking about something, and he started going upstairs. Like halfway up the stairs, he stops walking. And he turns around and he walks back downstairs. And I thought like he had just forgotten something, but he came and he sat back in the kitchen where I was like cooking or something. He was sitting on a bar stool and he just started talking to me. And I didn't think this was weird. You know, he had just changed his mind about going upstairs. Like his desk is up there, his like Xbox is up there, his room is up there. You know, he was just hanging out in like the common area, so to speak. Eventually he kind of says, listen, I've been debating telling you this for the last couple of minutes, but as I was going up the stairs, I heard somebody whisper, Christian, right in my ear. Like heard somebody whisper, oh my God, it gives me chills. Christian, like his name in his ear, like clear as day, like felt the breath, felt everything right in his ear. And he said that he felt really uncomfortable, as I did immediately, because our dad like is around a lot. I feel like he's very vocal since he passed. Like I feel like he's there often, but he would never scare us. He would never do anything to torment us in the way that this, whatever this thing is, has. By the way, on my way here to film this video, it is like 3 in the morning when I am filming this at my office because I keep procrastinating this, and I finally just feel like I have to tell this story because I feel like I have to take charge. I have to be able to do this and not be afraid to do it because of the repercussions, because I'm in control. Nothing else is, you know what I mean? And even on my way here to film this, the weirdest stuff was happening. Like a door slammed right in my face and like other things I'll tell you about later. So anyways, back to the original thing. Sorry, tangents. I'm very, very good at them. Christian's really freaked out by this. So much so, this is the first real paranormal experience he's had in a long time. I just told him, you know, maybe you're really tired, like maybe you didn't really hear that. And he was like, I don't know, maybe. But he couldn't sleep at all that entire night. Like he literally stayed up until the sun came up because he was so uncomfortable with how real the experience was. It may seem small, but for him, there was no way to explain what had happened. There wasn't like an air vent that could have just like brushed air into his ear and he thought he heard it. Like he heard his name being whispered into his ear. He just felt really uncomfortable. And he said that eventually he fell asleep sometime around dawn when the sun came up because he felt a little bit better about it, basically. He wakes up to the sound of someone screaming at him, "Get the bleep out of bed." Screaming at him full volume, and he jumps up, he's looking around, like he said that it sounded like a man and it was like big and scary, but he just hears someone screaming at him, "Get the out of bed." And the reason that this affects me so greatly is you might think like maybe he was dreaming when he woke up or something, but I have experienced this same thing, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So he experiences these 2 things and he is sufficiently freaked out. That was pretty much the extent of what had happened then. But he was super duper weirded out, like did not want to be alone, was like sleeping on the couch. Like this all happened within the span of like, you know, a day, but then everything that followed for me happened within pretty much the next week and a half. The first big thing, and I tweeted about it, was that one night I was sitting at my computer editing a video. I had my headphones on because earlier in the day my assistant had been over, and when he was over he was just like doing a little bit of like organizational things, and he was like listening to Rick and Morty or something on his phone, and so I just put on my headphones so I could edit and also not disturb him and he could work in peace. So I had just left on my headphones and I'm downstairs editing and Christian is upstairs asleep. And I stopped my video. Like I'm editing. Keep in mind, I was not freaked out. I thought that Christian was probably just imagining things because he had been a little bit on the tired side recently, but he's also not one to just say things like this all willy-nilly. Like the last thing he wants is for me to get freaked out, because then that's when I'm like pestering him, like texting him at 2 in the morning, like, can you please come downstairs? I'm scared. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want me to be freaked out. He really doesn't. I'm editing, and I pause the video to like cut it at a certain point. And as I pause it, I hear from the top of the staircase, because I have heard Christian yell to me from the top of the staircase in this house so many times, I understand what that sounds like. Somebody yells, "Loey!" And I go, "Yeah?" And there's no response. And I'm kind of like, that's weird, but thought that maybe Christian had woken up and called me and then decided he was just coming downstairs, or that he'd text me, who knows. He doesn't call me Loey. He's one of the few people in my life who calls me Lauren. Like one of the small handful of people in my life who call me Lauren, because that's my full name. Most everybody that I'm friendly with, anyone that I meet in life, strangers at Publix, at Starbucks, my name is Loey. So it was weird that he said Loey like that, but I was like, okay. So I keep editing, thinking if he needs me, he'll come get me, normal stuff. And I'm editing, I pause again to like slice the video somewhere else, and I hear Loey, like that. There's this way that we call our cat Kiki. We'll go kitty, like that. And she gets very like riled up and really excited, and she'll like start meowing and stuff at us. And I hear Loey, the way that we call our cat Kiki, and I am frozen in place. It felt so weird and uncomfortable, and I didn't understand like why Christian would do that. So immediately I get up from my desk and I go upstairs to go see what's going on, because it felt strange. It also didn't sound like Christian. It sounded like this kitty, like fake, like I have chills. It sounded like this fake, you know when people talk as a little kid and they say things like, oh honey, like I don't know how to explain it. Like when they use this like kitty voice, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like someone mocking me, like Loey, like that. I go upstairs immediately to go see what in the world's going on. I'm like, Christian, like I'm yelling his name. And nothing. And I go to his room and he is out, like drooling on his pillow, fast asleep, out. He is not awake. He was not yelling Loey from the top of the stairs. If he was yelling it from his room, I wouldn't have even been able to hear it. I was so uncomfortable. And the weirdest thing is that when paranormal stuff happens, my animals tend to react along with me, or they react at the same time or before me or whatever. None of them were reacting. I was surrounded by my dogs because like I am their mother, and none of them were barking, none of them were freaking out. And that is a common thing in this that I find so unsettling, because usually my dogs are like so on edge when like paranormal stuff happens, or my cats will look at things that aren't there, you know. So I didn't really understand why they weren't reacting, but I thought this has to just be in my head. Like this is so bizarre, but like I have to be psyching myself out. So I searched the entire house for an intruder. No one is there. I go back downstairs and I'm shaking, like shaking. And I start editing my video again. I edit, and I'm almost scared to pause again, because every time that I pause this video happens to be the point where I hear the Loey and like someone like calling me, you know what I mean? So I go back to editing. I have to pause the video, I have to slice it. A few of those like editing things happen, you know, it's like not immediate. It's like I edit some, I pause, I'm like bracing myself to hear my name again. Don't hear it, don't hear it, don't hear it. Keep editing, and then one third time you hear, Loey, like that. And that was when I started tweeting about it, because, or I think that's when I started tweeting about it. I may have been tweeting about it in the middle of it. It's so rusty to me at this point, but that was what I had experienced that night, and I was spooked, to say the least. I didn't know how to explain it, but I basically like sat in my kitchen and like prayed and waited till the sun came up, and then eventually fell asleep. This entire thing has like screwed my sleep schedule so badly. It's unreal that I'm awake and like filming and like alive at 3 a.m. and then I just sleep for the first half of the morning or half of the day because I'm so scared to be in the dark. That sounds awful. Like, I'm a 25-year-old woman. I should not be this freaked out over a ghost, but I'm telling you, like, I don't know how to explain how real this felt, and how much more real this felt in comparison to any bump in the night I had experienced before. Even the LA apartment, like there were very real things going on, but it has been a long time since I heard a voice like that, you know? And it just felt very mocking and creepy. So fast forward, and it's like the next night or the night after that, and I'm sleeping in bed and nothing really creepy has happened up till this point. And suddenly a spider goes scurrying across the bed beside me. Just like this huge, like literally like size of my palm spider is scurrying across my bed. I freak out, immediately twist over, and I use part of like my sheet to cover my hand, and I smack down. And I try not to kill spiders very often. I know that they are friends, but this little dude was in my bed and I was not here for it. I go over, I smack him. I smack him so hard that there are like, I don't know how to say this less grossly, like spider bits on my bed. The spider like completely crawls into itself. I watch it unravel its legs and scurry off under my bed. And I am telling you, like, the thing was dead. Like, I would have almost thought I had hallucinated it if there wasn't like stuff on my sheets to prove that I had just killed a spider or tried my best to. That's not necessarily paranormal. It's weird that there was this massive spider in my bed, and mind you, spiders nowhere else in the house. Super freaked out by the concept of a giant spider beneath my bed that has decided that he's really into the right empty side of my bed, whereas I sleep on the left side. I have a king size bed, by the way, and I think it's probably the biggest waste of money I ever made because I literally use like this much of it. So I decide I'm going to sleep in the living room that night. I have this huge mirror in my living room that is covered in seashells. Like someone hand did this. I've said before that the lady that built my house was very eclectic in her taste, like a lime green living room upstairs and a beach themed bathroom with a cloud ceiling. Like my house is very quirky, and I don't really, like, eventually I think I want to change it because this is like, that's like where I want to raise my kids and stuff like that, like is in that house one day, you know what I mean? But we're not anywhere close to that yet. Right now, I have no desire to change the house because it reminds me when my dad was there. So things like a giant mirror covered in seashells are still in my living room, even though it doesn't necessarily fit and I'd rather like hang a painting or something. It just reminds me of my dad every time that I look at it. And there's this giant mirror, and I'm having some trouble falling asleep on the couch. I'm pretty weirded out about the spider. I'm like covered in blankets so that if a spider does decide to randomly crawl on me or something, I'm protected by a fortress of fluff. What I can only explain is lights in the mirror, and I know that that's gonna freak so many of you out, and it freaked me out pretty bad when it happened, but I kept thinking it was a trick of the light, like my eyes must have been just adjusting to the dark or something. Like I kept seeing movement of lights in the mirror, and at one point I looked down at the corner of the mirror, was just like focusing on something to fall asleep, and I saw a dark figure. Not the corner of the mirror, it's like a round mirror, but at the bottom, like right of the mirror, I see this dark figure, and I see one of the little dancing lights around it. I immediately like jump up, look behind me, nothing's there, obviously. I bring Maka out of her crate. She is never like clothes in her crates. My dogs don't really get clothes in their crates unless there are people over, but they all have crates because I find that they like to have a room, so to speak. So Maka loves her crate because her bed's in there, all of her favorite toys are in there, same with Annie and Morty. Although they share one because they're cute. So I basically like force my poor dog out of her crate and like close the door and force her, like, so she can't go back in. I force her to cuddle with me and like stay with me because I'm so freaked out, and she didn't mind or anything. It's not the worst torture in the world to make your dog cuddle with you, but she just kind of hung out with me, and eventually I finally fell asleep. When I wake up, the only way that I can explain it is that somebody woke me up. Somebody physically grabbed me and like shook me awake. And I wake up and I can feel this like pressure of like hands on my arms. I wake up and obviously I'm alone, and that feeling instantly goes away. So I'm wide awake. It's like 6 in the morning. I had fallen asleep at like 4 because I couldn't sleep very well. I was really confused as to why I had been like jolted awake by something. And I went to the kitchen, I grabbed a glass of water. It's like I'm in the couch in the living room's, or the living room's like here, and then the kitchen's like right over here. So I go get a glass of water. I lay back down, get back under the covers, cuddle back up with my dog, who likes to be Little Spoon, in case you were curious. And I start to try to go back to sleep, but I can't stop looking at this mirror in my living room. And I don't know why, I just couldn't. Something kept drawing me back to it. It would be like I would force myself to close my eyes and close my eyes and close my eyes, and I would feel this like need to open them because I felt like somebody was watching me. I opened my eyes at one point and I see those little like lights again, and I'm thinking this has to be a trick of the eye. And I see that dark figure in the exact same like lower right hand side of this mirror. I freak out, I jump up, I look behind me, nothing's there, I look back, it's gone. And in my head, oh my God, in my head, I think to myself, this isn't real. None of this is real. You are being crazy. This house cannot be haunted. This is the one sacred place in your entire life. This is more sacred to me than like anything else in my life. I was gonna say it's more sacred to me than like a church would be, but that's probably pretty sacrilegious, and I don't really mean that. But you know what I mean? Like, this is my happy place. This is where my dad lived. Like, this is where I feel best. And let me kind of backtrack to my dad and say, I feel like I keep a lot of my experiences with him to myself because they are so precious to me, but he is very vocal. I've said that before. He comes around a lot. He talks to me all of the time through other people. If I ever run into anyone who is even the slightest bit remotely psychic, they immediately start talking about my dad. Then they say that he's always with me. He's like my guardian angel. And I act like I have him watching me at all times. Like, I can convince you that, not that I've become a better person because I was already a good person, but just like I hold doors for more people than I used to, you know what I mean? Like, I help old ladies out to their car with like groceries now. Like, I live in a way that I feel like my dad's always watching me because I feel like he is. He'd been very, like, I hadn't experienced anything with him for a long time, actually, like a few months up until this point. So I'm telling myself, this isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't real. I go back to sleep and I hear somebody whisper in my ear, wake up, wake up. Just like that. I hear it. I can feel it in my, like, it's the same thing that Christian described. I can feel someone say to me, wake up. I open my eyes and I swear to you, I hadn't felt like I'd fallen asleep, but the room is light, it's daytime, and I'm like, this is pretty weird. And I had slept a large chunk of the morning into like the afternoon because I had fallen asleep finally at like 6 a.m. So I check my phone, I'm just doing my thing, I'm going on Twitter, and I noticed this abnormal amount of replies from people who are like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? If this is a prank, this isn't funny, like whatever, whatever. And I don't know what they're replying to. So I click on one of the tweets and it like opens up the original tweet and I check it. And I had tweeted this, and this is still on my Twitter. I did not take it down because I was like, this is hands down the most bizarre thing, the most real, like, even if you guys don't think it's proof, it's the most proof I've ever gotten of any, like, oh my God, of anything. I had tweeted a Game of Thrones video, and I don't watch Game of Thrones. I do not watch Game of Thrones videos on YouTube. So if this was like an autoplay thing, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, I always leave on YouTube when I fall asleep, and I had, like, right before I fell asleep, I just opened a YouTube video, whatever. But for some reason, this Game of Thrones compilation video is what I had tweeted. So even if I had like sleep tweeted it somehow, like rolled over onto my phone, who knows, which I know for a fact I had like clicked it to turn the screen off because YouTube was still playing when I woke up and my screen was black. And I never really leave my screen on anyways. And it would have like auto dimmed. Like, sorry, I'm trying to explain why this isn't possible. I had tweeted this Game of Thrones video. It was like dragon moments from seasons 1 through 7, blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember, but I'll have a screenshot. I get like teary-eyed when I think about this because it's not because like I'm upset, but because this is one of the scariest things that I had ever seen. Was that before I fell asleep, I had this thought like, this isn't real, you're making this up, you are okay. I see that I tweeted real, 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 really, real, real, real. Even if I had sleep tweeted, even if I had rolled onto my phone and done that, autocorrect at some point would have corrected me from spelling the word real, 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 unless my hands were typing real, real, real. Oh my God, I don't understand how there is any logical explanation for this. And it sucks because everything else, maybe I made it up. Maybe I'm sleep deprived. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but this made no sense to me. And I really trust my brother not to do things like this. He does not want me to be freaked out. It inconveniences him when I am freaked out. And on my phone is real, 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 really, real, real, real. Oh, my voice broke, sorry. Because I'm so freaked out about it. I didn't even know what to do. I changed my Twitter password. I made sure that my account hadn't been accessed. It hadn't. This happened from my phone. This literally happened from my phone. The video was in my YouTube watch history. And I don't understand how. So Christian comes down the stairs at this point and I'm so freaked out. I tell him what happened. He just looks at me and he's like, yeah, why don't we get out of the house for the day? Because he had noticed I was pretty freaked out. I had slept on the couch, you know, there was a spider in my bed. He was like, why don't we get out of the house for the day? So we go and we visit my mom and we have a great visit with her. We talk about things, we hang out. I love my mom and it was really fun. And then on our way back home, I tell him, like, I don't even want to walk in there. Something is in there and it feels so threatening and weird and like something is wrong, you know? And he was like, listen, whatever this is, like, I've experienced it too. We're gonna be okay. And he reminded me of something I always say to him, and that I've said to other people in my life whenever they have paranormal experiences. And it's something that Haley kind of expressed to me in a different way, but the way that I word it is that the paranormal world is like on a screen door. And they are on the other side of it, and you are in your own realm, your own reality on this side of it. And they can blow around and move some stuff, or they can speak and you can hear them. And they can affect you in that way, but they can't enter without your permission. And so he kind of reminded me of that. He's like, this is a mild inconvenience. This is just something trying to freak you out. And when you're scared, you're feeding into it. I was like, you're right. So we go inside. It is broad daylight. It is like, still, we had gone and seen my mom, but it was like broad daylight at this point. We go inside. We're just kind of hanging out. And Christian and I are in the kitchen. I think we were just like talking over the kitchen island or whatever. And we hear a door upstairs slam. And immediately we're both like, whoa, is someone here? So I call out my assistant's name. He doesn't answer. We immediately both go upstairs. Nothing is amiss. There is nothing to explain the door like slamming shut. We go back downstairs, and as we go back downstairs, we hear running footsteps. And we both like turn around behind us thinking it's a cat or something, and nothing. And that was not the scariest thing that obviously had happened, but at that point I was like, we have to tell this thing to go away, because at this point this feels like something is mocking us over and over and over again. And Christian was like, I feel the same way. I jump on my phone, I'm researching like sage, the best you know, like sage that I can buy. I wound up just buying some on Amazon. I still have it. We're researching like how to cleanse a house. We're researching like how to obtain freaking holy water at this point. And Christian's like, why don't we just pray and tell it to go away? And Christian's not super religious. So when he says, let's pray, I know that he's being pretty sincere. So we basically just pray for a long minute. And if you don't believe in God or anything like that, I know that that can seem kind of silly to you, but for us, it was very, 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 very comforting. And we said, like, this is a house of love. This is a house of light. Like, you cannot gain anything here because we are not bad people. We aren't malicious people. Like, you're not going to get anything from us. Like, you're not scaring us because we know that we are stronger than this. We know that God is always going to be stronger than you, like blah, 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 blah. We're just like talking and talking and talking. And we're just talking to something that's not there, but it felt weird. It felt like something was there and was listening. And we were like, you know, if you need help crossing over, we can't help you with that. Like, you have nothing to gain here. You are wasting your time. You're wasting our time. There is no like if, ands, or buts. Like, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. And it all stopped. For so long, I was like, wow, that's literally all I ever had to do was just say, go away, and mean it. And mean it from the bottom of my heart that like, you don't scare me. Just like, leave me alone. I am stronger than you. You know what I mean? And so for a really long time, nothing else happened. It was very quiet. I knew that I was going to tell this story at some point, but for the most part, it was all good. It was, nothing was happening. We just went about our lives as we usually did. And then one day, I see a huge, huge spider crawling across my bed. I'm saying like the same path that the other spider had, and my sheets have been washed, so there was some kind of like pheromone or something, like I don't understand. A spider comes onto my bed and just walks right across my bed. Huge spider, size of my hand, walks across my bed. I freak out. I go over to smush it, escapes out from under my hand, goes under my bed. Same as the other one. And I thought, that is really kind of strange. I don't see spiders anywhere else in this house, but 2 now in the same path have just waltzed across my bed. Okay. I go out, I sleep in the living room because mama don't play with that, and I slept in the living room for like days because I don't play with that. I eventually go back to sleeping in my room, and the first night that I do, I hear a buzzing sound. And I can't figure out if it's my phone or something like that, or if it's like, I don't know, like something. What else could a buzzing sound really be? And it's coming from under my pillow. I lift up my pillow and there is a massive hornet underneath. And the minute that I lift it, the hornet starts going nuts and is like buzzing around, like threatening to freaking murder me. I like politely open a window and get the heck out of my own room for the night again, because there was a huge hornet under my bed. You might be thinking to yourself that there must be something wrong with this room that I'm in. Like there must be like a crack or something that allows bugs to get in. But it's strange because I can't really find anything. That being said, I've had the house sprayed for bugs 1,010,000 times. Like literally every time that I see one, I call up my local exterminator because like they have a policy where if you see any bugs or pests in between the times that they come and spray, they will come and do it again for free because it's supposed to work for 3 consecutive months. So again, there's this bee under my pillow. I don't even think I talked about that on Twitter or anything. It was really bizarre. And it just felt like I wasn't like welcomed in my own room. Consistently now, I feel like I keep getting pushed to the couch, like the living room, and then I would have these paranormal experiences, like something whispering in my ear, whatever. So hornet in my room, I'm sleeping on the couch, and I hear Christian coming down the stairs. And I like turn to say, oh, hey. And I thought I heard the doggy gate open. I have like a doggy gate at the top of the stairs so the dogs can't go under the carpet because they're monsters. I heard it open, I heard it shut, I hear footsteps, and Christian, nobody ever comes out of the staircase. And there is a distinct difference between like a cat or something walking down the stairs and then like human, like thud, 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 you know what I mean? And that was when I knew like, I think something is starting again. Since then, the main things that I've experienced have to do with the doors in my house. I don't really know how to properly explain this. So there are 2 entrances into my bedroom in my house. One is from the hallway. The other one is my entrance from my bathroom. You can go into my room from the hallway, or you can go into my bathroom and then into my room that way if you want to. I keep the bathroom door entrance locked, and I keep my bedroom door locked because I have my guinea pigs in my bedroom and I would rather no cats try to eat them. But I always keep the same door unlocked, and that is the actual entrance into the bathroom. Does that make any sense? The bathroom entrance into my bedroom is locked, my bedroom entrance is locked, but the locks are on different sides, so I can still unlock my room when I come in through the bathroom. I couldn't unlock my room from the actual entrance into my bedroom from the hallway. You get it, this is unnecessary. So I come up to my bathroom and the door is locked. And I'm thinking to myself, I never do that. That is so weird. Like I must have just absentmindedly like flipped the lock and not thought about which one I was flipping. So I reach for my bedroom door and it's unlocked. And I was thinking, that's even weirder, because I never leave it unlocked. But thought it had to have just been in my head. You know what I mean? Like I was just being absent-minded. Like why would that happen? You know what I mean? This happens for days in a row. I will come to a door and it will be locked for no apparent reason. I went to my guest room, which we haven't used in God knows how long, and the door is locked. Why would it be, like, I wouldn't lock it. I went upstairs to, I have like a little spare room. The house has a lot of rooms. They're just all kind of on the small side. It's like the owner of the house originally, like the creator, was just like, let's have 1,000,000 rooms, but make them all a cubic square foot each. So I have like a little closed off room where I keep my snakes and my reptiles because, again, don't want to keep them anywhere near my guinea pigs or anything like that because that's bad juju, but also don't want them within grabbing distance of the cats or the dogs or anybody because they could obviously hurt them. So I come upstairs one day and the door is locked from the inside, and I'm thinking, this is so strange. I never lock this door. Like, this door is such a pain in my freaking side. Like, to lock it is such a thing. Like, it's not something where you just like unlock it. There's a certain way that you can lock this door. It's so convoluted. It involves like latches and stuff because the doors are like swing open. Do you understand? And I don't lock that door. And I thought, that is so freaking weird. And then the final straw where I was like, I know I'm not losing my mind, was one day my assistant and I were sitting out on the front porch. He tends to work a lot during the nighttime because he has a full-time day job too. And we were just out on the porch, like he had finished doing whatever that day, and we're just hanging out, like talking, literally. Like, I have chairs outside of my porch, we're just talking. We had exited the house. There is no way to lock the door and then leave. You can't just twist something and then walk out. It's a deadbolt system. There is no other lock. There is a deadbolt system, and I do have like a security thing like in place with the door, but you still have to physically lock it, and neither he nor I did that. We're hanging outside, we're talking, we both stand up, we go to the door, and it is locked shut. Listen, I would have seen somebody, I would have seen Christian, I would have seen anybody who decided to lock that door. I would have seen it happen. Like, we are sitting by the front door. I can see into the house. I would have seen and heard the sound of the door locking unless somebody was sitting there and doing it so slowly. You know what I mean? So we go around the house, we go in through the back, and we holler up to Christian, and we're like, hey dude, like, did you lock the door? And he says, no, what are you talking about? And that was when he looks at me, and I hadn't said anything about the locked doors up until that point, but he was like, that was really weird, right? And I said, yeah, that was really, really, really weird. I don't know what that's supposed to symbolize. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but that's where things leave off right now, and that's where things kind of stand. Today, as I realized to myself, like, I have a sponsorship to film, I have so much stuff to do, but this has been, for some reason, I just have wanted to tell you guys about this because I feel like I stopped telling my own stories for so long, although clearly I had enough material for, like, this is probably gonna be like 30-40 minutes. I stopped telling my own stories because I was so afraid and so freaked out. And a lot of you guys noticed it, and you were like, listen, we really miss your own paranormal stories. Like, reading these is, you know, reading like the short ones or the viral ones, like, it's cute, but we really miss your stories. And so I know a lot of you noticed the change, and I just kind of got to this place where, like, I know that talking about it, I know that acknowledging it does some harm, but I can't, like, not do what I want to do because I'm afraid of what could happen. I'm not afraid of this thing. I was very scared of it at first, and I think that that's why it got as out of hand as it did. Now it's like, as I was thinking about filming this, like, doors were starting to, like, today literally a door closed in my face, and like I'm starting to hear weird sounds again and stuff, but I'm not going to let myself be so scared that I don't do what I want to do, which is create YouTube videos. And when I have a story, I want to be able to tell it. That is where this ends. So I hope there's not a part 2. I really do. This has been very hard to deal with because I feel simultaneously like my dad, who, you might think I'm crazy for saying that, like, I feel like he's around all the time, but it's been like he's gone again. And also, like, something really bad is and has attached itself to me. I know it's not the space. I know it isn't. I know that there is something attached to me, and whatever it is, I hope it knows that your girl doesn't go anywhere without a fight, and it is not going to scare me into submission or scare me into, like, giving it more energy to continue to scare the crap out of me. I don't know how to end this, so I'm just gonna say goodbye now. If you watched all the way to the end of this, thank you. I love you guys so much. I'm sorry this was so long and so overdue. If you enjoyed, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.